All right, how's it going, everybody? Hey, we're finally back with the episode I've been promising for a few months now and haven't been able to deliver. So I'm sorry for that. Sorry for making you wait. But things come up. It was Christmas. Christmas is crazy. There's a couple of projects I've been working on, so my time has just been completely monopolized. So I'm sorry about that. I hope to get back in a groove here moving forward. Anyway, if you're still around and you could stand the wait, we are back. And today we're going to be showing you how to create fake rooms with Verb. Okay? Essentially, that's what Verb is, right? It's emulating fake room. But I'm talking about like if you were to record a drum set in a studio and set up room mics, we are going to be creating those virtually. So let's not make you wait anymore, and let's just get right into it right away. So you can see here in my session, I'm kind of right where we left off last time with the full drum mix. Let's play that just to kind of see where we are. Cool. So drums sound pretty good as they are right now. This is without any extra room processing. So we are going to add that. So the first thing I'm going to do is essentially I need to send. Well, right now all the drums, as you can see, is going through this drum bus. Okay, so all these individual channels eventually make their way into this drum bus. To create a room mic situation, we're going to need to send these tracks to another bus. Okay, we'll call it the drum room bus. Now, there's a couple ways to do this. You can do it with sends if you wanted to. The easiest way that I do it in this situation is to actually assign a multiple output of all of our drum tracks. So instead of them just going to the drum bus, they're going to go to the drum bus and output to the room mic bus. So to do that in Pro Tools, I just select the tracks that I want to route to that secondary drum room bus. And then I hold a Shift Option, which is apply to all selected, and then Shift Option Control, which is add a second output to all that is selected. Okay, so I'm going to click my output here, and I'm going to actually create a new track. Okay, and we are going to call this drum room. Okay, stereo aux input. Cool. Create that. Okay, cool. So we're all set here. And then I'm just going to move this thing down to the bottom of my drum so you can see it easily. All right, so now I have the drum tracks going to both the drum bus, the normal drum bus, as well as my drum room bus, okay? But I only want to hear this drum room bus for the time being, so I'm just going to mute the main drum bus at the moment, okay? And then we're going to make sure my drum room bus output is going to my mix bus, final mix bounce. Okay, so we're set. Okay, so... and we hear the drums, we see them coming through that drum mic. Okay, so this is an exact copy of the drums, but now we're going to add some room processing. So the first thing I'm going to pull up is my reverb. Okay, now the verb you choose for this is extremely important. Okay, not all verb is created equal for this sort of thing. I don't want a plate. I don't want a chamber. Well, maybe a chamber. I don't want, most, unfortunately, digital verbs struggle in this scenario because, verbs are, some sort of algorithm that's trying to guess what how sound would reflect in a room, right? And they normally sound pretty good, okay? Out of the gate, they sound good. But what we're going to do to this room bus when we compress it and pull out all the stuff in between, you'll really see that verb fall apart. You'll really hear the lack of detail that a natural verb, a real analog verb would have. Okay, so it's kind of tricky to find the right verb for this processing. But once you do, remember it because you'll want to use it again, most likely. So I've already kind of found one. The other thing is I really enjoy or get the most luck out of using some sort of convolution verb. So rather than it's just some random AI trying to create a verb, it's an actual sample of a real space somewhere. I tend to get a little bit more luck with that. So I'm going to pull up space, which is one of my favorite convolution verbs. Okay. And then I'm going to go over here to rooms. And I kind of have one I always use, DC Live Room, some studio somewhere in, well, DC, I would assume. But even has little pictures of the space that they sampled. So it's a good-looking drum room, it looks like. Okay? Anyway, that's as far as it goes there. Now, let's just hear what it sounds like. So this is the full drum mix running 100% through this convolution room here. Sure. Okay? Sounds like a room. The thing I don't like about, that's kind of hard with convolution verbs, and this one including, is it sounds like they set up a speaker in the studio and mic'd the speaker, which is exactly what they did. So, take it for what it's worth. It'll probably require some EQing to kind of make it seem like more of an actual kit was being played in the room as opposed to a speaker playing back a kit in this room, if that makes sense. But it's going to be great for this purpose. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do, and that's the other thing. At its basic form, this is it. You're just choosing a good verb that sounds like a recorded broom and adding that into your drum mix. Okay. But like when I record drums in a studio, I'm going to be processing this room with EQ and compression. Pretty heavy stuff, too. I'm not just going to leave it as is and call it good, okay? The beautiful thing about rooms when you're recording rooms in a studio and emulating here is when you start compressing it, okay? Because that compression, what it's going to do is it's going to smack down all the initial hits, all the attacks of all the drums, and that's okay. But what that does is it brings out all the glue in between the hits, all the personality and all the excitement in the room. And that's what makes it feel like, oh, dang, this, it feels exciting, it kind of builds a little bit of anxiety in there, okay? That's what we're going to be kind of pulling out with compression. So let's just jump right into that. Now, my favorite room mic compressor that I use is this guy, where you are, TG12345. Okay, the Abbey Road channel strip thing here. Okay, it's a heavy hitting compressor. It is not subtle. It's pretty aggressive. Okay, but for this, it's amazing. All right, and then I'm going to just check my routing. So I want my EQ to be before my dynamics because I'm probably going to use some of this EQ in here to tweak how this compressor is hitting. Okay, so I'm just going to turn it to compression mode or turn the compressor on. And let's see what it sounds like right out of the gate. Yeah, I mean, it is pumping and it's kind of dirty. There's a little bit of breakup, a hint of saturation, compression, distortion going on. All beautiful things. Don't be shy of this stuff, guys. Don't be the white glove guy that's like, oh, there's distortion. It can't possibly be correct. Oh, it is so correct. Okay, when I hear this, however, I do hear the low end is kind of getting weird. Hitting that compressor, or rather the compressor's farting out a little bit too much in the low end. I like how it breaks up at the top a little bit, not so much on the low end. So I'm just going to use the EQ built in here to pull out some lows. Yeah. Cool. Mucho better. Okay. Just pull out a little low end. It'll make the compressor kind of respond a little better. Okay. And then the other thing I really like about this is it has some goodies on top of it. So we have a little stereo spreader and some drive. So the first thing, I'm going to add a little bit of width to it, but not too much. Yeah, something like that. Don't go crazy with the width knob here. It's a gratifying knob, but all it's going to do is make your drums, which in turn will make your mix get pretty phasey sounding. So a little bit goes a long way. Just to get it a little wider than the dry kit that we're not hearing yet will be. Okay? And then I'm going to put some drive. So I'm not kidding when I say that distortion is not a bad thing. I'm going to add some more of it. Woo, that's some dirty, dirty drive there. That's extreme. You could do that for a 1-bar fill in the middle of a song. Ooh, that might be kind of a cool little thing to go to, but we're going to tame it down a little bit. Yeah, great. Okay, it's chunky, it's pumpy, it's crunchy, it's all the amazing C words that I can think of. Guys, this is what you want your rooms to sound like. It's just intense. It's aggressive. It makes you curl your lip a little bit. You're kind of going like, "Ugh, that is just dirty." That's a good thing. Okay, when we add this to the clean drums, it's going to bring out all the little goodness, the little dirty little details that are in between all the hits. Okay. So, this is basically all I do. Now, I will hearing it, especially with that drive, in that compression, I hear a little bit of 1K kind of poking out just a hint too much. So I'm just going to pull up a stock EQ to tame that after my compressor here. Yeah, right around there, 1.2. And then probably some low MIDI stuff, some woof. That's probably going to be a problem when we add bass and stuff like that. So I'm going to preemptively get rid of that. Great. Okay. Cool. Guys, that's it. That's all I do. That is what I do to the drums. Drum room mics. Now, if this were a real room mic situation, that's where you kind of hear the digital verb fall apart a little bit. If these are real mics, the distortion would be a little bit more even. It wouldn't sound quite as choppy, lack of a better term. But it serves the same purpose. In a mix, those little things aren't going to come out, because when you add this into a mix, and we'll show you here in a second, all the distortion that's happening that you're hearing on this room mic is when the drums are hitting. So they're happening on the attacks for the most part. The gaps in between are relatively clean or cleaner, okay? And that's what we're going to hear in our drum mix, because the attacks are going to come from the dry drums, not the room mics. The room mics, it's being chomped it's being squished right out of there, but we will hear all the stuff in between every hit, okay? So this distortion won't necessarily be that much of an issue or an issue at all. Okay? All right, let's add this into our drum mix. So I'm going to unmute our drum bus, okay? And turn my rooms all the way down, okay? Because I've been listening to just the room soloed, I kind of forgot how the drums by themselves sound. So let's just hear one more time, and then we're going to be slowly bringing in the rooms into this drum mix. Okay, everybody's ears reset. You ready for this? We're going to add the drums. Here we go. Here we go, guys. Okay, so right off the bat, one thing I notice is that 1K thing is still kind of a problem. I hear it mainly in the toms. It's thinning out the toms just a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna pull a little bit more of that out of the room. Cool. Close. Not quite there yet with that first tom. So I'm going to actually go to the tom track itself and pull a little bit more 1K out of that. And then gave it a little bit more low end to compensate for that room. Okay. Always feel free to go back and adjust to make room for this stuff. Okay. All right, so here's without the rooms, muted, so just regular drums. And with rooms. Again, without. And with. Cool. All right. That's it, guys. That is drum room manufacturing at its, well, not finest, but at its present. Okay, cool. That's it. Now, let's switch gears a little bit. Now that we have our room mic dialed in with our drum mix, okay, now we're going to run everything through our drum bus. So all the individual mics along with our room processing through our main drum bus. Like it were mics on the kit itself that were also going to the drum bus, okay? So that's all routed through the drum bus. Now we're going to add a little compression to the drum bus, okay? Or, parallel compression, additive compression. It's called a lot of different things, okay? Now, there's, again, a couple ways to do this. If you're using a compressor that has a mix knob, you can just add the compressor right to the drum bus and dial it in with the mix knob. If you don't have a compressor that has a mix knob, you'll have to kind of get fancy with routing and route basically all the drums, including the drum room, to another bus, and then add that in with the drum bus. But I'm using a compressor that has a mix knob. So I'm going to pull that up. It's one of my all-time favorite Compressors. It's the good old Shep's Omnichannel. Love this channel strip. Mainly the compressor. Saturator too. Saturator's pretty awesome. Yeah, so we're going to pull that up. We're waiting here. Oh, taking a long time. Wow. Do 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 do. Wow. What is the deal? Will this be the first crash on Binging on Broadcast's history? It might be. Oh, man. Oh, here we go. Okay. Whew. Man, you all right there, Pro Tools? You get everything you need to do? Get it all done there? Okay. Have our Sheps. So, it's a channel strip, so it has a lot of different things. We're just going to be focused mainly on this compressor. Drum bus compression. I like a very fast attack. So as fast as this thing goes, which is 0.4, I assume that's milliseconds, although it doesn't actually tell me, but 0.4 something. So super fast, and then a super fast release. All right, as fast as it goes. Now, the kind of the philosophy behind that, I want this compressor to destroy the attacks. Okay, just crush them out of there. So aggressive that it starts distorting, much like the drum room bus thing we did. And then once it crushes those attacks out, I want it to return immediately. Okay, so it's a very aggressive compression. Let's go nuts with it. Doesn't it just make you want to just like wear some pity vipes and curl your lip? I mean, that's what we're going for, really. Yeah, this is how much compression I am adding to my drum bus. Now, the key to this is that mix knob. You're not going to hear 100% of this compression. But wouldn't it be cool if you could? The pit viper dudes would be stoked, including myself. If this were the drum mix through the whole song, man, there would be some really angry people at you and really happy people, and probably nobody in between. Let's roll it back, though. That's all the way out. Refresh your ears a sec. And then bring it in. About 20, 30. 25, 35. Yeah, something like that. Okay, you're just adding a little bit of that pump in there. It brings the energy. It brings the, you're creating some angst in this drum performance. It gets people a little bit more on the edge of their seat. In the best way possible. Okay, now, when I add this compression, and I kind of heard it earlier before, I hear a lot of the like subby, kind of the kick drum after the kick drum hit. That low end is pumping out a little bit, and it might be a little much once we start adding bass. Those two are just not going to jive together. All right, so I think primarily that's coming from our room bus. So I'm going to open that EQ back up and just roll it right out of there. I don't need much low end from this track. Great. Love it. I would sign off on these drums and move on down to the bass. These drums now have attitude. Let's give them a name. They have earned a name at this point. They have an attitude. They have a personality. They need a name. Something BA. What would be a good BA name? I would say like Sir Squish-a-Lot. Sir Squish-a-Lot. That's kind of a tongue twister, but hey, we're rolling with it. We just gave this drum set name Sir Squish-a-Lot. Listen to it purr. Cool. Now, let me play it without what we did today. So we're just going to go back to the individual tracks without any room bus processing or drum bus processing. Okay, so I'm just going to mute my room bus and bypass this compressor on our drum bus. Here's with the rooms and drum bus compressor. Here's without. And with. And there you have it. That is what I do with drums that don't have room mics and drums that have room mics and then the drum bus compressor. That was a really bad way of explaining that, but I think you guys get the gist. Yeah, that is it, guys. How to make drum rooms when you haven't been able to mic a drum set with drum room mics. Okay. It adds a lot. Like I said, it fills in the gaps. It glues all the stuff in between the hits. And it really gives your drum set attitude and character. Or as we like to say here on Binging on Broadcast, it names your drums Sir Squish-a-Lot, because that's kind of what we're doing. We're just squishing a lot of them. Compression's a good thing if you use it well. Okay, guys? With that all being said, I hope you guys are doing well. I will try to make this a little bit more regular than making you wait like 2 months or whatever it was. It's like a Game of Thrones episode. It's well, not worse. They made you wait like 2 years, but it's similar, guys. So I won't make you wait that long any longer. I'll try to be on it. Love you guys. Like, subscribe. Watch more of my videos. I'm trying to go down the input list. I'm trying to get all the way through, French Horn 5 on episode 360. But this is episode 7. I love you guys. Maybe watch some of these videos over here and here and here and here. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Stars wipe out.